Let's bring you the latest from Ukraine, where officials insist they're still resisting Russian advances in the city of Pokrovsk in eastern Ukraine. That's despite Russian claims last week that it's now taken control of the city. While Pokrovsk has been a key battleground for more than a year, Ukraine seeing it as a major obstacle to preventing Russian forces from taking control of the entire Donetsk region. Well, our defence correspondent Jonathan BEALE has been with Ukrainian troops who continue to defend the city.
Focus, ви прийняли посилку, прийом.
Pokrovsk hasn't fallen, despite Russian claims to have taken the city. But the battle is intense. This, the command center, where Ukraine's Skalar assault regiment is coordinating the fight. They say they have hundreds of soldiers still in the city. They want to show us. To refute what they say is another Kremlin lie.
So to prove that Ukrainian troops are still in Pokrovsk, they're just getting some of the troops talking to them now to show their flag. There it is. So Sasha's been talking to his men on the ground to show that they're fighting in Pokrovsk. He's asked them to put up a Ukrainian flag, and there it is. For their safety, they're then told to change their position.
You've seen it with your own eyes. If we do not show this, the whole world will lose faith and stop helping the Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian army. That is why we are doing this, to prove we're still strong.
This is how they explain the battle. The green plastic soldiers, Ukrainian troops still holding the north of the city. The brown ones, small Russian units trying to advance from the south. Ukraine is once again outnumbered, but it's proving costly for Russia. These are all their identity, basically.
Yes.
You think you killed a lot of Russians in Pokrovsk?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough, I think.
The idea about giving up land for peace, what do you say to that?
So much blood of Ukrainian people in this ground, so it will be a shame to give any part. If we will give some, Russia will take more.
But holding ground is costly too. With the constant menace of Russian drones. This is what it's like fighting in Pokrovsk. What a unit of the Skalar regiment experienced this week. The same threat Hotabich had to face for nearly 30 days.
It is scary when the drones spot you. There are a lot of drones there. They fly around the clock. We always wished for good weather, meaning fog or some rain, a grey sky, because at such times we could resupply and reinforce our positions. And the rest of the time we just sat there without going out, so that the drones wouldn't spot us.
The battle for Pokrovsk has been going on for more than a year. How much longer can Ukraine hold on? It is losing ground. The city is in ruins. But Ukraine needs proof of its resolve at this critical time. Jonathan BEALE, BBC News, Eastern Ukraine.
Well, let's speak now to Jonathan, who is in Dnipro, a city in the east of Ukraine. So, Jonathan, did you get the sense from the troops that you spoke to that there's any willingness to sacrifice territory to gain peace?
I think the closer you get to the fighting and the longer they've been fighting, the harder it is for them to accept any territorial concessions. So certainly no sense from those troops we spoke to. You've got to remember that they're with commanding officers. It's less likely that they're going to say anything critical about the war and about the way Ukraine's conducted it. But I think there is a real belief there that they've sacrificed so much and they don't want to sacrifice anymore. And also a belief that if they did sacrifice more land, then Russia would just take more, as you heard in that piece earlier. So I think that that is the mood of the troops fighting this battle, who've made huge sacrifices, seen their comrades fall. a mood of defiance, essentially. It's slightly more complex, I think, the further away you get from the fighting. If you're a civilian, if you've moved from the east, for example, your home, it may be, and we've spoken to people, that they will not return. They do not believe that it will be safe enough to return. That's certainly some of the comments we've heard. And there is a desire for peace. There's a desire for peace amongst soldiers. There's a desire for peace amongst civilians too, and from President Zelensky himself, but not at any price. And President Zelensky has made clear that this US peace plan that has been put forward, at the moment, it is not acceptable to Ukraine because it would mean ceding more territory. And he says he is not willing to do that. So that is the key sticking point about these peace talks at the moment. And there is evidence on the front line that President Zelensky, his stand is supported by his forces.
And Jonathan, is there a sense from the troops that you spoke to that they think they can still retain parts of the east, land which they've been asked to give up?
I mean, certainly that among those troops we spoke to, there's some frustration that if you look at some of the battlefield maps, it shows that Russia has infiltrated inside Pokrovsk beyond their own lines into Ukrainian lines, and therefore the battle map looks like it's completely taken by the Russians. They say they are still holding in Pokrovsk, the north of the city, and we spoke to soldiers certainly who were near the railway line which bisects that city and who have been defending Pokrovsk. So there is frustration. I think Ukrainian troops say they need support. They need weapons, they need Western weapons. They need, for example, night vision drones, which the Russians have in significant numbers. They need air power, which again, Russia has the advantage. So I think there is concern that America might pull the plug on support. Remember, America's not directly supplying weapons to Ukraine, but Western countries, NATO countries, European countries are buying American equipment to give to Ukraine. So I think, you know, there is concern about long-term military support as far as Ukrainian troops are concerned. And if they don't get that support, then I think it's very hard to see them holding the territory in the east, because Russia, no doubt about it, is making advances.
OK, Jonathan Beale, thank you very much for bringing us up to date with the very latest from Ukraine.